Did you know there is a teaching of Jesus that was deliberately removed from public scripture? A teaching he reserved only for his closest disciples, in private chambers, away from the eyes of the crowds. It wasn't a parable. It wasn't a metaphor. It was a direct instruction about a physical organ within your brain, the gateway to full awareness, to what we call Christ consciousness. And the unsettling truth is that you carry this organ right now as you listen. But it is blocked, and I will show you exactly how to unblock it. Stay until the end, because what you will discover here will completely change how you understand your faith, your body, and your spiritual potential. This is not theory. This is science, history, and spirituality converging into a single revelation that institutions preferred you never know. Let's start at the beginning, and the beginning is inside your head. At the exact center of your brain, protected between the two hemispheres, there exists a tiny organ the size of a grain of rice. It is shaped like a pine cone, and it is no accident that the symbol of the pine cone appears in ancient cultures from Egypt to Greece, from the Vatican to Mesopotamia. The Egyptians called it the Eye of Osiris. Hindus know it as the third eye, the Ajna chakra. The Greeks, through Descartes, identified it as the seat of the soul. And Jesus, according to records preserved outside the official canon, pointed to the center of the forehead when speaking of spiritual perception. This organ is the pineal gland, and what modern science has discovered about it will make you understand why this knowledge was so carefully guarded and so systematically suppressed. The pineal gland is the only singular organ in your brain. Everything else in the brain exists in pairs, two hemispheres, two lobes, two amygdalae. But the pineal is one, unique, central. It contains photoreceptor cells identical to the cells in your physical eyes. This means it is literally designed to see, but not to see sunlight. It sees in the dark. It was designed to capture attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment. Different kind of light. Researchers at the University of Arizona in the United States have documented that the human pineal gland produces DMT, dimethyltryptamine, known in scientific and spiritual circles as the spirit molecule. DMT is produced naturally by your body and is released at specific moments. During deep sleep, in near-death experiences, in deep meditative states, and, according to some theories, at the moments of birth and death. Think about that for a moment. Your body, this body you sometimes neglect, that you subject to daily stress and toxins, this body internally manufactures the substance that opens the doors of spiritual perception. You don't need to go searching for God somewhere else. The mechanism for connecting with the divine is built into your physiology. Jesus knew this, and he left clues everywhere. In Matthew 6:22, he says, "The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light." The word that in most translations appears as single in the original Greek is hapless, which also means unique, singular, one. The single eye. The eye that is not double that is not divided between the external and the internal. This is not a physical eye. It is the eye of spiritual perception. It is the pineal. And he adds, but if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. A calcified, blocked, closed eye, and the entire body operates in spiritual darkness, unable to perceive what lies beyond the physical plane. He further states in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God does not come with observation, nor will they say, see here or see there. For indeed, the kingdom of God is within you, not in a cathedral, not in Jerusalem, not in some hypothetical future after death, within you now. And the key to accessing it is physiological. But here is the problem, and it is a serious one. Have you ever wondered why children have a spiritual naturalness that adults have lost? Children speak of invisible friends with total conviction. They report seeing figures of light. They describe experiences that adults quickly dismiss as imagination. Research in child neuroscience shows that the pineal gland of young children is fully active, producing melatonin and other neuroactive compounds in much greater quantities than in adults. And then calcification begins. The calcification of the pineal gland is a process documented by conventional medicine. Most adults in the West already show some degree of pineal calcification by age 17. In populations of industrialized countries like the United States, this process begins even earlier. And the culprits, they are precisely the elements of the modern lifestyle you consume without question. Fluoride is the first and most researched. Research published in the scientific journal Fluoride by researcher Jennifer Luke demonstrated that the pineal gland accumulates fluoride in higher concentrations than any other tissue in the body. Fluoride binds with calcium and forms calcium fluoride crystals in the pineal, literally a mineral crust that blocks its function. The treated water you drink, especially in large cities, contains fluoride. The toothpaste you've used since childhood contains fluoride. And no one told you that this compound, over decades, accumulates precisely in the organ that Jesus identified as the center of spiritual perception. But fluoride doesn't act alone. The ultra-processed foods that form the basis of the diet for a large part of the population are loaded with inorganic phosphates, preservatives, and additives that interfere with the endocrine system, the hormonal system of which the pineal is a part. The average American over 35 consumes on average more than 50% of their daily calories from ultra-processed products, according to data. Every meal based on these products is, from the pineal's point of view, one more step in its blockage. And then there is chronic stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, when chronically elevated, suppresses the production of melatonin by the pineal. And melatonin isn't just the sleep hormone, it is the biochemical precursor to the spiritual perception compounds your pineal produces. Chronic stress not only wears down your body, it literally dims the spiritual light of your pineal gland. Think about your week. How many hours of real stress do you accumulate? Work deadlines, bills to pay, friction in relationships, traffic, news, social media. Each of these elements is, biochemically, suppressing the function of the gland that connects you to the divine. But there is something even more insidious than fluoride, ultra-processed foods, and stress. Something most people don't even perceive as a blockage. Artificial light at night. Your pineal is a photosensitive organ. It regulates your biological cycles by detecting light and darkness. When the sun sets, it begins to produce melatonin, which signals to your body that it is time to enter a state of deep rest, the state in which the subtlest spiritual functions activate. But what happens in the real life of the average 35, 40, 50-year-old today? You come home after a long and heavy day, eat dinner while looking at your phone, spend hours scrolling through Instagram or watching series, and go to bed with your head still buzzing with stimuli. The blue light emitted by the screens of phones, tablets, and televisions is recognized by the pineal as sunlight. It signals that it is still day. Melatonin production is suppressed. The natural cycle of deep spiritual activation is interrupted. You go to sleep without truly resting. You wake up tired, and the feeling of spiritual emptiness persists, not because God has moved away from you, but because you have systematically deprived your body of the physiological state necessary for connection to happen. Every night on your phone until 11 is one less night of pineal activation. Multiply that by years, decades, and you begin to understand why so many people over 35 feel that faith has become intellectual, that they believe in God with their head, but don't feel God in their body. Not because faith has died, but because the biological mechanism of spiritual perception has been gradually dimmed by lifestyle. But Daisy, and pay close attention here because this is fundamental, this process is reversible. Calcification can be reduced, pineal function can be restored. And the practices to do this were not invented by anyone now. They have been preserved for millennia, transmitted by mystics, by the Desert Fathers, by Christian contemplatives, by scholars of Kabbalah, by practitioners of Kriya Yoga. And they all converge on the same essential principles. I will present each of these principles to you now. And before I continue, if you are finding this content transformative, do me a favor. Click like right now. That simple gesture helps this knowledge reach other people who also need to hear this. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell, because what I bring here every week is exactly this type of revelation you won't find in conventional places. Let's get to the practices. The first and most fundamental is pineal detoxification through conscious food and hydration. If fluoride is one of the main agents of calcification, the first logical step is to reduce your exposure to it. This doesn't mean panicking or becoming an extremist. It means making informed choices. Water filters with activated carbon or reverse osmosis remove much of the fluoride from tap water. It's not a huge investment. A simple activated carbon filter costs between $50 and $150 and already represents a significant reduction in daily exposure. Regarding food, tamarind, a common and inexpensive fruit, was studied by Indian researchers and demonstrated the ability to chelate fluoride, meaning to bind to it and facilitate its elimination from the body. Coincidence that a fruit so popular in many regions has exactly this property? Nature does not waste. Other allies in pineal detoxification include iodine, present in seaweed, seafood, and eggs, which competes with fluoride for the same cellular receptors. Turmeric, which we know as turmeric, contains curcumin, a compound with documented anti-inflammatory and chelating properties. Cold-pressed coconut oil, dark leafy greens like kale and spinach. All these foods that your grandmother intuitively knew as real food are, from the point of view of pineal health, tools of activation. And water. Drink more filtered water. Your pineal needs hydration to function. Does it sound too simple? It's because sometimes the deepest truths are simple. Jesus didn't complicate it. Be like little children to enter the kingdom of heaven. The child drinks water, eats real food, sleeps when it's time to sleep. The second practice is the regulation of light and sleep. You will need to create what I will call a sacred darkness protocol. This means at least 90 minutes before bed, you begin drastically reducing your exposure to artificial light, especially the blue light from screens. This is not a punishment, it is natural pharmacology. You are giving your pineal gland the signal it needs to initiate the cycle of producing profound neuroactive compounds. Think of it this way: you don't throw seeds onto cement and expect a harvest, you prepare the soil. Deep sleep is the soil where spiritual perception grows, and darkness is the fertilizer. Some complementary practices for this period. reading sacred or inspiring texts on paper, quiet prayer, simple breath meditation, a warm bath. All of this communicates to the nervous system and to the pineal that it is time to transition from the state of alertness to the state of reception. And when you finally lie down, the room should be as dark as possible. Any sliver of light, whether from hallway light through a door crack or the LED from a phone charger, reduces melatonin production. Invest in a sleep mask or blackout curtains for your windows. This seemingly small detail can dramatically transform the quality of your rest and, by extension, your spiritual life. The third practice is meditation focused on the third eye. And here I want to be very specific with you, because there is much confusion and vague mysticism around this. Meditation to activate the pineal does not need elaborate rituals. It does not need specific incense or perfect posture. It needs one thing: sustained attention. Sit with your spine straight, in a chair, on the floor, wherever is comfortable. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly through your nose. 4 counts to inhale, 4 counts pause, 4 counts to exhale. Do this for 2 minutes to quiet the nervous system. Then gently direct your attention to the center of your forehead, a little above the point between your eyebrows. Do not force anything. Do not try to see anything. Just place your attention there as you would place a candle in a dark room, with care, with intention, without aggression. Neuroimaging research shows that this simple act of directing attention to a specific region of the brain increases blood flow and neuronal activity in that area. Attention is not passive. It is a real physiological force. When you place attention on the pineal, you are literally stimulating it. Maintain this attention for 10 to 20 minutes. Over time, not in one session, but with regular practice over weeks, many people report physical sensations at the third eye point: light pressure, warmth, pulsation, tingling. These are real neurological responses to increased activity in that region. And what comes after that? Clarity, sharpened perception, more vivid dreams laden with meaning, strengthened intuition. The feeling, not just the intellectual concept, but the living bodily sensation that you are not alone, that there is a presence accompanying every step you take. This is what Christian contemplatives called consolation, what Carmelite mystics like John of the Cross described in their dark nights of the soul, not permanent emptiness, but the perception that emerges after silence. The fourth practice is contemplative prayer. And I need to make an important distinction here. There is prayer that speaks, and there is prayer that listens. Most of us were taught only the first type. We come before God with our list of requests, our thanks, our anxieties, which is legitimate and necessary, but we stay in monologue. And then we wonder why we don't hear an answer. Contemplative prayer is the act of quieting the mind to the point where the answer can be perceived. The desert fathers of Egypt in the 4th century, the first Christian monks, practiced what they called hesychia, which in Greek means sacred silence. They spent hours in stillness and quiet, not because they were lazy or escapists, but because they knew the divine voice does not compete with noise. It whispers, and it is only heard by those who create conditions to listen. In our culture, with our heritage of fervent and expressive faith, we sometimes forget that the Christian tradition also has this contemplative stream. That Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, Thomas Kempis, all of them indicated that the highest point of the experience of God is not emotional ecstasy, but the deep stillness in which the ego dissolves and something greater takes its place. This is what happens when the pineal is in full activity. The ego, the collection of stories, fears, and defenses you've accumulated over your life, temporarily loses its dominant voice. And in that space, something that was always there becomes audible. The fifth practice is fasting, not just dietary, but sensory and informational. Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his public ministry. Moses fasted before receiving the law. Muhammad received revelations during the month of Ramadan. Fasting appears in all serious spiritual traditions of the world. Why? Because fasting, especially intermittent fasting, which science now studies with growing enthusiasm, deeply alters the brain's biochemistry. During fasting, the body enters a state of autophagy, a cellular cleansing process. Glucose levels drop, and the brain begins to use ketones as an alternative fuel. This metabolic state is associated with increased mental clarity, reduced brain inflammation, and, crucially, greater activity in neural networks associated with introspection and expanded awareness. From the point of view of the pineal specifically, fasting reduces the overall inflammatory load of the body, creating biochemical conditions more favorable for its function. It is not magic, it is biology. But it is a biology the ancients discovered millennia before modern laboratories. For those over 35 who want to start gently, the 16-hour intermittent fasting protocol already shows documented benefits. This means, in practice, dinner at 7 p.m. and breakfast at 11 a.m. the next day. Nothing radical, nothing requiring superhuman willpower, just a window of digestive rest that releases physiological resources for deeper processes. And beyond dietary fasting, consider informational fasting. One day a week, or at least a few hours a day, without social media, news, podcasts, passive content consumption, just silence, nature if possible. Your own thoughts. Your pineal needs quiet to work, and the modern world systematically conspires against that quiet. Now I want to talk about the obstacle I consider the most difficult of all, and the most rarely addressed. It is disbelief in your own spiritual eligibility. You have been taught, directly or indirectly, that direct perception of the divine is a privilege of saints, prophets, people with a special vocation, those who spent decades in a monastery. That ordinary people with ordinary lives, children to raise, bills to pay, and sins to carry, should settle for a second-class faith. With the intermediation of others, with the hope that perhaps, after much effort and merit, some crumb of transcendental experience might be granted to them. This belief, so deep most don't even realize they carry it, is the most powerful block for the pineal, because spiritual perception does not operate in a vacuum. It operates within a field of internal permission. If at some level you believe you are undeserving, unqualified, too ordinary, your unconscious mind will constantly sabotage any opening that begins to arise. And Jesus contradicts this in an absolutely direct and unambiguous way. In John 14:12 he says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and will do greater works than these." Whoever believes. Not whoever has a theology degree. Not whoever spent 30 years in a convent. Whoever believes. You. Now, with all your imperfection, all your history, all your messy and beautiful humanity, the promise is for you. And this is not just a spiritual issue, it is a neuroscience issue. What researchers call self-efficacy expectation, the belief that you are capable of producing a result, has a direct and measurable impact on brain function. People who believe they can meditate effectively produce more coherent brainwaves during meditation. People who believe they can have spiritual experiences have them much more frequently. The faith Jesus asked for was not intellectual. It was a faith of the body, a permission given to the nervous system itself to operate at its full capacity. You are not ordinary, you are chosen. This word, chosen, appears hundreds of times in Scripture, and most of us read it as applying to other people, to Israel as a nation, to the apostles, to canonized saints. We rarely recognize it as something personal and present, but the most rigorous biblical theology points to something radical. God's call is not based on human merit. It is based on divine purpose. Paul writes to the Ephesians that you were chosen in him before the foundation of the world. Before you did anything, before you made any mistake, election precedes existence. This means the spiritual openness you long for is not something you need to earn. It is something you need to allow yourself to receive. It is an inheritance, and inheritances are not earned, they are claimed. The pineal gland in this context is the physiological mechanism for claiming that inheritance. It is the biological instrument through which the perception of the divine becomes possible on the physical plane. Caring for it is not esoteric mysticism outside the Christian tradition. It is honoring the temple God built to dwell in. Paul could not be clearer in 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? The temple is not of stone. It is not a cathedral with stained glass imported from Europe. It is you, your body, your brain, your pineal, and just as no one lets a sacred temple deteriorate without action, without cleaning, without care, without attention, you cannot ignore the temple that you are and expect the divine presence to flourish within an environment of calcification, toxins, and constant noise. Before we continue to the final part of this script, let me ask you a direct question. When was the last time you truly felt God? Not thought about God, not prayed out of obligation or habit, but felt with the body, with the chest, with that certainty that needs no argument, that there is something greater, present, real, alive. If it has been a long time, if this experience has become increasingly rare, if faith has become more cerebral and less visceral, I want you to know this is not a moral failure on your part. It is physiological. It is the result of decades of a lifestyle that systematically closes the door God built within you to communicate with you. And the good news, the transformative news, is that closed doors can be opened. You know that feeling, the one you had as a child, or perhaps in a fleeting moment since. A quiet certainty that needs no argument, that there is something greater, present, real, alive. If it has been a long time, if this experience has become increasingly rare, if faith has become more cerebral and less visceral, I want you to know this is not a moral failure on your part. It is physiological. It is the result of decades of a lifestyle that systematically closes the door God built within you to communicate with you. And the good news, the transformative news, is that closed doors can be opened. I'm going to give you a practical 21-day protocol to begin this process of activation. 21 days, because this is the minimum period for habits to begin to take root neurologically, according to research on neuroplasticity. This isn't magic. It's the biological time needed for new patterns of neural activity to start consolidating. For the first 7 days, the focus is on detoxification. Swap tap water for filtered water. Eliminate or drastically reduce ultra-processed foods. Those products with endless ingredient lists that your grandmother wouldn't recognize as food. Add to your daily diet at least one food that supports the pineal gland. Turmeric in your rice, eggs at breakfast, a serving of leafy greens at lunch. These small adjustments, added together, create a real biochemical difference within weeks. From days 8 to 14, add the protocol of sacred darkness. At 9 p.m., your phone goes on airplane mode or into another room. The lighting in your home is kept to a minimum. You begin a winding down routine that includes 10 minutes of conscious breathing before sleep, with gentle attention directed to the center of your forehead. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. From days 15 to 21, introduce contemplative prayer. In addition to your habitual prayers, which you will not abandon, add 15 daily minutes of sacred silence. Sit, close your eyes, say internally something simple like, I am here, I am available. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. And then, Remain in silence, without forcing anything, without demanding dramatic experiences. Simply present, open, available. By the end of these 21 days, most people who followed this protocol with consistency report noticeable changes. Deeper, more restorative sleep, more vivid dreams, an inner quiet that persists even during the hectic moments of the day. The feeling that the spiritual world is a little closer, a little more real, a little more accessible. And this is only the beginning. The awakening of the Christ consciousness is not a single event. It is a process. It is the story of someone gradually removing the layers of calcification, both literal and metaphorical, that have accumulated over decades, and rediscovering beneath it all that child who saw with spiritually open eyes, who felt God as a real presence and not as an abstract concept. Jesus said, "Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." This is not an instruction for intellectual naivety. It is an instruction for a return to the physiological and perceptive state of childhood, when the pineal gland was active, when the connection was alive, when the spiritual and the physical were not separated by decades of conditioning, toxins, and noise. You can return. The door can be reopened. And the Father waiting on the other side of that door is not measuring your worthiness nor counting your mistakes. He is waiting with the same patience as the father of the prodigal son for you to rise and begin the journey back home. If this video touched something in you, if something you heard here resonated with a truth you carried but didn't know how to name, I ask you to share it with someone else who also needs to hear this. There is a person in your family, in your circle of attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.